After so many delays and constant crap going on with this movie, we finally get the final movie in this Fox X-Men series. So let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Josh, aka Future Filmmaker 3940, where I talk movies, TV, and music. And I'm here to give you guys my review of The New Mutants, which is the 13th and final film in the X-Men franchise. And it is in the American superhero horror film based on the Marvel Comics team with the same name. And this is directed by Mark Boone from a screenplay written by him and Nat Lee. And we finally got it. Cannot believe it. After all the trouble that this movie has gone through. This movie was filmed 2 years ago in 2017. Then with a 2018 release date in mind. Then this movie was delayed while reshoots were being planned and they didn't get to do them. And Disney began the process of acquiring production company 20th Century Fox, which is now 20th Century Studios, but I'm still calling it 20th Century Fox. And after that, the acquisition is completed, and then they finished work on the film and completed without reshoots. And then with this whole pandemic situation going on, it's been delayed more than once, and now we finally have it here on August 28th in some theaters, and now I'm here to talk about it. So before I give you guys my review of The New Mutants, be sure in the comment section down below, tell me what you think of The New Mutants. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Or are you somewhere in the middle? Be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell, get notified when new videos up, because I do live streams, do reviews of movies, TV shows, music, top 10 lists, rankings, all of that. So if you don't hit that bell, you're not going to get every single notification out there. And if you want to stimulate to my time, or you want to send fan mail, you can do that as well. So with that being said, let's get into The New Mutants. In this movie, 5 young mutants, Wolfsbane, Magik, Colossus, Mirage, and Sunspot, who are just discovering their abilities while held in a secret facility against their will, fight to escape their past sins and save themselves. But what they don't know is that there's something more sinister going on. Now, when it comes to The New Mutants, this was a movie that I was actually really excited to see because it's a different spin, it's something new for the X-Men franchise, much like Deadpool and Logan. And the reason why I call this new is because it was a superhero horror movie, and a superhero horror movie has never been done before. And the concept has been pretty much started out last year with Brightburn, and it will be continuing in 2022's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. But this is the second movie to go for the superhero horror genre aspect, and this is basically a mix of Glass and a mix of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, and you take that, The Breakfast Club, and Glass, and you combine it into one, and you get a movie like this. And when the first trailer came out, I was intrigued. I was like, this looks different. And then when the delays kept hitting and hitting, and then my excitement was still there, but then my excitement starts to die down less and less with every single delay. And plus, with the situation where everyone's in quarantine and stuff, it kind of got me a little nervous even more. But when they announced new trailers, I still held my breath and hoping that this would see the light of day. And it was almost kind of like a running gag at this point. This movie would never see the light of day. But now we finally got this movie, because so many movies this year have been delayed. This movie, Mulan, No Time to Die, Fast 9, which comes out next year, and A Quiet Place 2 next year. After seeing this movie today, I will have to say that I enjoyed it. for a little standalone story in the X-Men franchise. I enjoyed it. It's not great. It's not perfect. It does have its flaws, and I will get into those issues, but I will say that the New Mutants, that if you are someone who likes the horror genre and the superhero genre, you'll pretty much enjoy this movie. But if you are somebody who is not a fan, who is basically giving up on the X-Men series after Days of Future Past, you're not gonna like this. You're not gonna like this movie. It's pretty much a mixed reaction. Some people like it, some people won't. But I will say that the positives here. First up, I will have to say that I think I like this idea. Like I said, I love this idea. It's a young adult horror-esque vibe, which I pretty much like. And there were some initial drafts where this would be different from the core X-Men movies. And namely, there was the way this was handled. I do like how the way they approach this. You have a great director like Josh Boone, who has directed The Fault in Our Stars, and I can't wait to see his interpretation of The Stand in this December from CBS All Access. And I was actually pretty interested to see where this was going to go with him in the director's chair. And I gotta say, his direction is very cool. I do like the direction here. It's very horror-esque, very eerie vibe. You do have a lot of good horror elements in this movie, and that's why I feel like the movie does strive for the most, is its horror elements. I do think the horror elements definitely shows what kind of movie this is going to be. And from the first couple minutes of this movie, all the way up to the last couple minutes of this movie, throughout, I was intrigued, I was into it, I was enjoying it. It worked for me. This horror-esque vibe is not going to work for some people, but it worked for me. Also, I will have to say that the characters in this movie are actually pretty interesting. I do like these characters. Granted, I don't know anything about these New Mutants characters except for Sunspot, because he was in X-Men Days of Future Past, played by Adam Canto. But these newer characters I really do like. I like these characters. I enjoyed these characters. This cast does a great job for the most part. It's a small cast. You have Macy Williams, of course, from Game of Thrones. She does a great job as Wolfsbane. She's Scottish, she turns into a wolf, and her whole idea is that she is struggling to reconcile with her religious beliefs and her wolf thing, which I like the identity. I think it was pretty cool. And you could tell that I like that aspect to her character. And also Macy Williams, she does a great job. She does a fantastic performance in this movie. I think she really brought it in this movie. Also Charlie Heaton from Stranger Things. I like him in Stranger Things. And here as Sam Guthrie, the Cannonball, he does a really great job. He propels himself into the air. He is invulnerable while doing so. I got some connection with his character. He is doing the American Southern accent, but he did a great job. He does a great job in the performance too. Also, I will say Danielle Moonstar, Blue Hunt, played by Blue Hunt, she did a great job too, and I've seen her in the originals, and I want to see what she does next, because she does a really great job. She is the spine and focus of the character-driven stuff in this movie, and I guess she did a great job as Mirage. Mirage, she's this mutant who could create illusions based on the fears and desires of other people, and I like that. I think that was a very interesting way to go with this character. It's something new, it's something fresh, and it was something different. Also, Henry Zaga, of course, is Sunspot. Again, controversy aside, he did a great job as Sunspot. Again, he manipulates solar energy, and I think he did a really good job as well. Also, Alice Braga from I Am Legend, she did a great job as the mentor to the group, and I'm not going to give away anything with her because there's this whole mystery thing surrounding it, but I will say that she did a great job in this movie. But easily the standout of this movie is Anya Taylor-Joy. Anya Taylor-Joy is a great actress. She's a great up-and-coming actress. Also, she's a pretty underrated up-and-coming actress. Everything she does, she always does a great performance. From The Witch to Split to Glass to Emma recently this year. And I can't wait to see her in Last Night in Soho next year, which is another movie that got pushed back, unfortunately. And I gotta say, she did a great job in this movie too. She was my favorite mutant in this movie. She's Russian. She had, for the character she's playing, she has sorcery powers, can manifest the soul's world, and use teleportation discs to travel. And she is the sister of another X-Men member. I can't say who, but if you've seen the previous X-Men movies, you know who I'm talking about. But this cast really does very well. And also, like I said, everyone does great. But Anya Taylor-Joy is a standout. And of course, you gotta have that tribute. As far as the rest of the stuff, I will say from the way this movie is shot and from the way this movie is lit, this is a very well shot film by Peter Dunning, and the music by Mark Snow, who did music for Ghost Whisperer, the TV series, and a bunch of other stuff, works very well. I do love the score and I do love the cinematography. It feels horror-esque vibe because this movie takes place in one location, so for a lot of people that will be boring. But for me, I thought it was pretty fresh and pretty different to see that it takes place in this hospital, and you get all this crazy creative stuff that they did with it for this $80 million budget. And I will say the effects here are also really great. For the action sequences that they have in this movie, I think are very well done, and I think they're very amazingly well handled. In the PG-13, this does not hold back and go into some pretty dark moments. As far as the mix aspect goes, like I said, when it comes to Alex Braga's character, her performance is great. It's just that there were some things here when it comes to her I can't really go into, but there were some things I was kind of questionable about. And also, the writing of the characters, this is going back to the positives a bit. The writing of these characters, I like the characters of them. I got to care about these characters. Thing mixed was Alex Braga's character, and that's pretty much what I felt like was the only thing I thought was missed up, was some of the things that they did with her character. And also there was this whole situation with Wolfsbane and Moonstar that kind of threw me off a little bit. But with that being said, let's get into my negatives here. My biggest issue here is that I feel like that this movie is a little bit too quick. It starts off and then it just ends. It feels like it's not studio interfered. This is pretty much the version that the director wanted to make, but I feel like that with some additional reshoots that they were supposed to do, they could have added on for more of the horror-esque vibe and some more character stuff, because when it comes to this, I feel like that the movie just rushes a little too much. Well, not a bad thing, because I don't mind a short movie. I don't mind a long movie, as long as you balance the two out. But I feel like this is a movie where the reshoots, additional reshoots should have easily happened to add in some more explanatory, to add with some things and some more character stuff there, because it does feel like there are some stuff that's left hanging in the balance to set up another movie, because initially this was supposed to set up a trilogy, but because Disney now has rights to the X-Men, including these guys, not gonna happen and unlikely. But it does feel like that you could easily have some additional couple minutes there, and it kind of feels like you could have just added some extra stuff going on for it. And also, another problem I will say, that there's not really much of an antagonist in this movie except for the Demon Bear. And he was pretty cool. He was pretty cool to see. I liked him. But I wish there was a bit more of an antagonist here. I know you're trying to be simplistic with these group of characters, but it feels like you needed more of those, because it just like Now, also another thing I will have to say is that some of the writing in some parts there is a little bit clunky. It's a tiny bit clunky in some areas, and you could have tightened up some of the dialogue a little bit. But despite that, there was some pretty good dialogue here, and also the ending of this movie, it just kind of ends abrupt. That is another big problem. Like I said, they were trying to set up, it's like, this isn't studio interfered by Disney or Fox or anything, because it's pretty much what the director intended, but it feels like you should add a little bit more to it. And if they would have allowed this movie to have some additional reshoots and some additional photography and stuff to coincide and add into the movie to flesh out this movie's runtime just a little tad bit more, then this could have boosted up from the grade I will be giving it. But other than that, those are all my positives and my negatives. So before we get into my final thoughts, in the comment section down below, what did you think of the New Mutants? Did you like it? Are you gonna go see it? Did you hate it? Are you mixed? Whatever. In the comment section, let's talk about it, because this is the last hurrah for the X-Men movie, besides last year's Dark Phoenix, which that movie was let down. Also, my social media links are in the description box down below. If you want to send money to my channel or send fan mail, you can do that by the email me or DM me privately, and be sure to hit the subscribe button to get notified when stuff is uploaded, or when I go live, or when I post my community tab. Otherwise, you're not going to get every single notification. At the end of the day, the New Mutants was a fun little side story in this X-Men series. I liked the cast, I liked the action that we were given to, Josh Boone's direction, the cinematography was really nice, and I do like the horror-esque vibe to it that they were going for with this movie. But the problem is that if you would have just given this movie some additional reshoots, and if you would have given this, and if this movie was a little bit longer to flesh out these characters a bit more, and also some of the expository stuff a bit more, I feel like this could have been truly something. So I guess I could say I am a bit disappointed. But at the end of the day, I can't hate on this movie too much. This movie has been dragged through the mud because of constant delays and because of this stupid pandemic. But with that being said, I enjoyed the New Mutants for what it was. It was a fun time. If you want to watch it, go right ahead. If you want to wait till Blu-ray or 4K or streaming, you can do that as well. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give the New Mutants, I'm gonna give this movie 2 grades. I'm gonna give this a stream this thing, and I will say I will give this a wait for Netflix or something. So those are my 2 grades. So yeah, that's my review of New Mutants. let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Are you gonna see it? And if you are gonna go see this movie in theaters, I implore you to please be safe, wash your hands, wear a mask, wear gloves, do whatever you need to do,